Hey everyone, Dan Toman here again. Let's take a moment and talk about ensuring that we're prepared at our welcome desks for a weather emergency, a fire emergency, or a power outage. Clearly, in addition to ensuring that our entire team, this is not just management, that everyone on our front office team is prepared for these types of emergencies and how to react, knows our evacuation plan, knows where our tornado shelter is located and the best route to get our guests there, when it's appropriate to send guests to our tornado shelter location, our safe spot, even if this is a hotel that does not have a basement, how to handle that when guests inevitably ask. That's going to most often than not be either a stairwell into the restroom of the guest room or the ground level corridor. Keeping in mind that these are very property specific, you'll want to reach out to your general manager for specifics of where the suggested tornado shelter location is for your hotel or lodge facility. So that being said, tornadoes are important to be prepared. We're approaching that season where they're going to become more common, those tornado warnings, and guests want to know. They'll ask you in advance, and if you don't have a good answer, if your team doesn't have a good answer, guests will lose confidence very quickly, and that's the last thing we want to have happen. We need to be looking out for safety and security all the time. Tornadoes are one thing, fires, clearly escapes. What are the evacuation plan for fire? Does our team know that we need to treat every single alarm as an emergency until we know for fact that it is not? Or is the team conditioned to treating fire alarms default not as an emergency? Maybe we've got situations with our facility where they happen relatively often and we've gotten complacent to them. In the end, we need to ensure that we treat every single fire alarm as though it is the real thing, and calmly suggest that folks do move to the nearest exit, and then we'll be informing them, and be sure to go outside and let people know when it is confirmed safe to re-enter the building. That's an important piece, especially if it's wintertime. You don't want your guests standing outside for any longer than they need to be. Okay? And then, of course, clearly, how are we going to be prepared for power outages, assuming we're a property that does not have a backup generator? Even so, those do not go forever. So, front office specific, clearly training our team, regardless of leadership or not, because let's face it, oftentimes the front office is the MOD, so they need to know these things, okay? Evacuation plans, how we're going to handle these extreme situations, emergencies. Let's talk about the bucket for a minute. If you're a hotel that still maintains a bucket, you know what I'm talking about. This actually, it's kind of old school. A lot of our properties still do it. It is a backup system. If you've been doing this for approximately 10.5 million years like myself, you grew up with your bucket, you grew up relying on that more than your computer. So, and your registration cards, and then being accurate. Yes, we did survive on paper and pens at one point, people, without these clicky-click things and mice and all this stuff. So, buckets are a good backup for bad weather. When computers crash, if your server goes down, if your electricity goes out and you don't have generators, you're actually going to rely on your bucket, and you're going to rely on your contingency reports. So it is still important to print what we call downtime reports at the start of every single shift. It's just a good backup. Your property probably will have specific list on your front office shift checklist of what is to be included for reports on your downtime reports. Typical ones are going to be an in-house guest list sorted by room number, and remember, these are printed at the start of every shift. So you've got 3 shifts in a day at your front office typically, and they're going to be printed so you have fresh versions at the start of each shift. Worst case, you've got information that's a couple hours old to deal with. That's better than nothing, trust me, when you're in the heat of the moment and you need it. So back to this. In-house guest list sorted by room number. Arrivals sorted by alphabetical. Departures sorted by alphabetical or room number. you know, that one, it doesn't really make much difference. In-house ledger balances, you need to know what the balances are of your guests when the power went out. And then, of course, your other ledgers as deemed appropriate by property. So those are going to be the important ones. Another thing, your bucket is only good as how you maintained it through your shift and how your coworkers assist you in maintaining it. So it's kind of important to be removing those registration cards and adding them in real time, not just letting them pile up and not taking them out as people check out. This can be tough because we get very in the habit of just click, click, check out, bye. Hope you had a great stay. Please post a review. Love to see you back again. Yes, we do need to be taking the registration cards out as we check out. That's kind of important because when you need them for that downtime situation, again, it's only as good as how you kept it up. Okay? And then clearly, there's a number of reasons for this, but getting solid information and confirming guest information at check-in. So that's going to be address, phone, email, typically those items. All right? We can get in the habit of just getting a quick check-in done, being sure that we're providing fantastic customer service. But let's face it, folks, if the reservation came in through an OTA, the chances that you got information communicated through your systems is pretty slim. So we do want to actually solicit that information from the guest when they're in front of us. It doesn't take too long, and when you need it, you're sure going to be glad you had it. Should the guest have left something in their room, and we're going to be proactive with returning lost and found items, we're going to reach out to them. But, you know, if you didn't have any contact information, how are you going to do it? That's one thing. Clearly, emergency situations are a far more important reason to ensure we've got great, solid guest information, contact information. All right, folks, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Appreciate your time.